Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing indoors task in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against the Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food, from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlet will be shut. But I really better bring some food because I've been in the stadium for 5 hours and all the catering outlet will be shut. So no rancid burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground overflow with supporter wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. "Be careful which pub you're going to," she said. "They will see you coming." What is she referring to? Could it be the Dunce book bag A4 site that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to Rear Scott, my friend Alastair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also not 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a man in the loudest tartan suit I ever seen, including a tiny tartan clutch bag. I pose for a photo with him and they tells me I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar people tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. National football teams are a symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. For Scotland, the pressing issue is independence. For England, it is race. The English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, defended the protest, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that they were not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist politics of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, has accused the player of indulging in gesture politics. Players from the England team whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the game are now being asked to react to command from the Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be wary of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an immense defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. The Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Westbrook preparation for 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama, while plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the work in Rashford. None are willing to take him on in public. The culture wars over football are not just happening in Britain. When the multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game in the tournament, they were also booed by the crowd. Doubtless the Russians also protested against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for 2020, defended fan who visiting team take the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by shivering current warnings about the alleged dangers Europe being flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable with footballers taking the knee. One prominent or thinker in Britain laments to me that football used to be a political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96, when England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country did seem to get behind the team, in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium all joined the singing of the Lions, football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. But somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that team was never mixed up with the politics of race and illusion. Right, England games have always existed of the One promontory thinker in Britain laments me that football is to me a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. When England also played their games at Wembley, in the whole country they seemed to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, Texas Stadium all joined in the sing of blue light, people's coming home. The stadiums are largely empty, full of crowd activity. England games have always attracted a considerable number of soldier hooligans and power supporters. Utrecht's march chant is no surrender till our day. At the last European At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot, outside a bar in Marseille, I was told quickly, if you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television. 엄마 어디가 앞이고 어디가 뒤야? Okay, come. Football ground in the 1970s, where I saw the most overracing that I ever witnessed. 봐봐, 이상아. 이렇게 해. 그치? 엉덩이가 더 커, 웃음이 더 커. 엉덩이. 그러니까 여기가 더 많이 필요하겠지? 내가 그거 가르치려고 했는데 너무 몰라서. It was routine. Football ground in 1970 was also where I saw the most over racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players spark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into the political space. But now the national team has become a source of the. So if the current national. 근데 그거 다 내복 입고 입어. 다 말랐어. 오케이, 내복 입고 다 입어. 그러면 오늘 어저께 밤에 입었던 거 입고 자. That's where I saw the most overracism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into a political space. But now the national team has a political space. The politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. 바지는 다른 거. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independence referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools to stop lessons to allow the kids to watch the game against text slides. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournament. I had little option since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1974 and 1978. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem play for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the Queen. Although YouTube recording does not show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting off Love Scotland with the stern word that we can still rise now and beat a nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people in Southampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely in the stands, even if the total army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions. They belt up Love Scotland loud enough to drown our conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain, De Robertson, can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the tech score and the air sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampton, there's hopeful chatter around the urinal that Scotland might still be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football stories made by the text. Patrick Schick, the team centre forward, gets the ball on the halfway line and blows the ball by the Scottish goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering Czechs on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them was frozen in horror. After the match, Alastair reminds me that Scottish fans are used to bitter disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of the nation is double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating the fans. But what if your goalkeeper ends up floundering flat on his back, tangled up in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setback for two football match public leader. 너무 추워. Leaders. Urban gave permission for a capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to Azerbaijan, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit of disappointing their most ardent fans. The side often portrays an embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Donald Liu in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in a tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be battling, and they all have seen the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve on their feet. They all has the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they tackle it. If Gareth Southgate, England major can somehow are much better holding their nerve when they take lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England major, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, he will inadvertently provide a huge boost to the Johnson government that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. But Southgate has successfully but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government, taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has reluctantly defended their right to make statements on something other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the lead. 그러면 이사 그거 바르자. 세탁필 바르고 하자. 세탁필 갖고 와. 이사 나 옷 뒤집어 입은 것 같은데? 컴.
뒤집어 입어서 그런 거 아니야?
그런 거 같진 않은데. 이게 원래 뒤에 있었는데. 뒤로 가봐. French tell us how much better they're holding their nerve when they call it. 세탁비 갖고 와봐. 동그란 거. The stepper was symbol of the success of Brexit, but Southgate has subsequently unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government on taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and have continued to defend their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. Right than the left. The left. Right than the left. But football may be an exception. Poll taken across Europe before 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of culture war. For the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, so slightly later in the day. On the other hand, this is a real tournament. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic, the stadiums are quarter full, and England are uniquely bad England are playing half decently. I am allowing myself to hope for the weirdest outcome of the month, an England victory.